The 2013 Tomb Raider reboot tasked players with discovering hidden GPS caches, which contained extra salvage and buried manuscripts that offered a deeper glimpse into the series' lore. Lara will continue to uncover hidden caches in Rise of the Tomb Raider, but she'll also run across various writings on ancient Mongolian obelisks that she might not be able to read at the beginning of the game. These obelisks function like treasure maps, but will require a bit of decoding. As Lara collects fragments of ancient scripts, she can start to piece together the ancient language written on these obelisks and will eventually be able to read these markers, which in turn will lead her to new narrative elements or an ancient story of secrets. Lara isn't the first person to make a pilgrimage toward the invisible city of Kitech. At one point in the game, she climbs over a mountain range and gets a panoramic view of the abandoned Cold War installation, which has been largely reclaimed by nature. Lara discovered hub areas like this in the last game, but Rise of the Tomb Raider's hubs are 2 or 3 times bigger. These areas offer Lara more opportunities to explore, plan her attack, and collect secrets and supplies. As Lara makes her way toward the installation, a helicopter flies overhead and Lara spies the word Trinity written on the side. It's a name that she's become uneasily familiar with over the last year. Trinity occasionally pops up amongst conspiracy theorists who research the myths Lara is risking her life to find. Devoted Tomb Raider fans might also be familiar with the name Trinity. Crystal Dynamics dropped this hint about the organization's existence in the 2013 reboot. In that game, a set of secret GPS documents alluded to a secret organization that seemed to have enough knowledge and resources to send an agent to the island of Yamatai as early as World War II. Lara doesn't know what the organization is doing in Siberia, but if they're looking for clues to Kitech, that's bad news for her, and she's bad news for them. As Lara moves deeper into the Cold War installation, she discovers a group of Trinity soldiers looking for a map. Lara needs to find a way through their encampment. Fortunately, she has a couple new avenues to navigate through the environment. Lara can now scale trees, hide in small brush, and swim underwater. Although these aren't particularly novel means of travel for a video game, they do give Lara a more diverse range of options with which to approach a group of enemies. Our goals for combat are to give players as many opportunities as they can to engage combat on their own terms, says Hughes. We wanted to push on the pre-combat phase before Lara is spotted. The goal will rarely be for Lara to sneak past everybody, but there will be opportunities for her to sneak through a camp and gain a better lay of the land before engaging the enemy head-on. We want to give players more of those situations and more tools to use in those situations. Lara silently dives into the water and swims across the bank to where a guard stands watch. With snake-like fluidity, Lara wrenches the guard underwater, chokes him out with her bow, and then leaves his body at the bottom of the riverbed. Lara then used a row of small bushes to circumnavigate the perimeter of the camp, where she grabs a gas can and a radio. The radio provides a perfect distraction to lure a group of enemies over to a bonfire. The gas can causes an explosion and then takes them all out in one bang. You can lose guys once enemies are aware of your location, but it's usually better to fight noise with noise, says Hughes. We try to keep the pressure on. We don't want players to feel so dominant that they can always reset the guards to a dumb, oblivious state. There are repercussions for getting caught, and it's harder to evade once the fight is on. But that's where a chaos becomes useful. You might be able to distract the guards with an explosion or a gas bomb and then escape for a moment to heal before diving back into the fray. We tend to put you in a pressure cooker once awareness kicks off. With a group of enemies closing in on her position, Lara puts her guerrilla tactics to use with a gas bomb, buying enough time to put some distance between her and her foes. She swings off a tree branch and lands safely behind cover, at least for a minute, where she binds her wounds and then makes a poison arrow on the fly. Watching Lara navigate the environment and use discarded refuse as killing tools, it's hard not to think back to Naughty Dog's critically lauded The Last of Us and its gritty improv-driven combat. Thankfully, it doesn't take much longer for Lara to clear out the enemy encampment, but this won't be Lara's last battle with Trinity. She has a long journey ahead of her, and now she's in a race to find the secrets of Kitech before an invisible society with enough bankroll to fund a private army can get their hands on them. Up ahead, amidst a rocky outcropping, Lara can see a small opening. Inside is a cavern no human has entered for centuries. Who knows what you'll discover inside? Human remains, deadly traps, priceless knowledge, or perhaps immortality. One of the things that they talk about in this chapter is now that we're going to have a more of a broader area. So before we go into a camp and go in there guns a-blazing and having all these fights forced upon us, now we get to investigate the place, and we might even be able to take out some of the enemy before the alarm goes off, which is really cool. One of the problems that I had with the previous game was that I felt like a lot of the battle scenes were a little bit too forced upon us. I wish I could go through some of the areas without having a full battle. Sometimes I wanted to just see if I can clear an area without actually sending off the alarm. Now, it seems in this one, there's still going to be some forced battles, but for the most part, they're still going to give us a lot more freedom to play the game the way we want. Another thing is that I felt like the first game was a little too easy. I felt like it was that it had held us through most of the game, almost 75% of the game. They were still telling us what to do. When Lara was in constant danger or she'd be falling, there would be a quick time event telling us on screen which button to press in order to save her life. I wanted a real difficult feature on Rise of the Tomb Raider. I want to learn by trial and error. I want to make mistakes. I want her to die constantly, and I want to figure out the puzzles, and I want the game to tell me what to do in order to save Lara. I want to figure it out on my own. I want a real challenging gameplay in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Hopefully they'll be able to pull that off. I want them to do away with Lara's senses where everything would turn black and white and only the gold would appear, so that it'll show that I can interact with that. I want to be able to figure that out on my own, and I'm pretty sure I can. I don't want the game to tell me that, oh yeah, you can reach out and grab that area. Another thing, I wrote a note here. I would also love to have a one life difficulty sort of thing, where I want to play through the campaign and see if I can get through the entire game without dying once. If I die, then that's it. I have to start all over again. Well, you guys, next week is the final chapter to the Game Informer article, and it'll be up next week, which is perfect timing because also next week is E3, and we finally get to see some real footage from Rise of the Tomb Raider. So that's something to really look forward to. And before I go, I just want to thank all of you guys for actually sharing this video. When I first started this project, I didn't think it was going to do so well, but I've been getting a lot of wonderful comments, a lot of support from you guys, letting me know that you guys actually enjoyed what I had put together from the Game Informer magazine. I didn't think you guys were going to receive it so well, but now that I know that you guys have, and like I said, the emails and the messages you guys have been sending me, dude, you know what? It's what fuels me to make these video contents and putting out for you guys, because sometimes it's a lot of hard work. Like I thought this project was going to be easy, and no, it wasn't. It was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But now we're at the end of it. We're on the final stretch, really. Next week, like I said, is the final chapter, and I'll put it up for you guys. But again, you guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. My name is Rox, and I'll see you guys next week. Bonfire!